Good morning, Fcuker's. How we doing? Hopefully this is all live. Hopefully I can get a sound check when somebody else comes into the live stream. I'll try and check this on a regular basis. I don't know if you see everything's just fucking working. I mean, you gotta love it, ain't you? You just gotta love it. How are we all doing, everybody? Hope you're all safe and well. Really enjoying Jeff's live streams, even though he is an absolute utter chab. If it was left to me, I'd have electricity installed in Jeff's spaceship and force him to live stream every day. Look, that's just me. Morning, Beck. How you doing? Can you just give me a sound check? Can you hear me all right? Is it all okay? Hopefully it is. So, what? Jolly good, thank you. Hey up, Vince. Hey up, Cider. Lovely to see you all. So I thought I'd do a bit of a stream this morning. Before you all jump. OBS disconnected, reconnecting. All right, okay. Looks like my internet's going to be a dickhead today. Being as they're both pretty much identical, except for the graphics card. Hopefully I'm still live, even though it's just told me I disconnected. So I just wanted, hey up Robbie, I just wanted to do a general piss about live stream this morning, looking at the games that I want to play and live stream and do videos of in 2025 and comparing how they perform on the Linux. Everything pretty much is a one-to-one, with the exception of SWTOR and World of Warships and American Truck. 3 major titles. So I'll try and get this running and working. And the first thing to note is that the chat box is very happy and working very well. Whereas on Linux, it just don't work end of. Now, this is not a let's dig out Linux Mint, because as you're all probably aware, I am very happy with the Linux Mint. I love my Linux. I love it very much. I'm trying to put that somewhere that you can see it. It'll probably become a little bit clearer. I wonder actually if I should stick it that side. Probably stick it over out. It'll probably be in the way of something, but then again, hey ho, people like to have the chat on the screen. Straight away, that's instantly noticeable. All the widgets on Streamlabs work beautifully on Winblows. Hey up, Jeff. So that's the first thing to notice. The second thing to notice, well, the first game I want to have a look at is American Truck Simulator. Now, on the Windows PC, I can play the latest iteration of the game. I can absolutely load it with mods, which I've done, and it runs beautifully. Now, on my Linux Mint, with virtually identical spec, I have to row it all the way back to version 1.37 in order for me to be able to get what I would deem an acceptable quality of game when I'm making videos or streaming. So straight away there, you're at a massive disadvantage. And don't forget, these are just the games that I love and want to play and make content on. When you start talking about games like Fortnite and Valorant and some of the latest AAAs on Linux, you've just got no fucking chance at all, because it just don't work. Even older titles such as Armour and Armour 3, Armour 2, even they have serious issues on Linux, whereas on the Windows they're flawless. And I guess the reason for all this is quite simple and straightforward. It's because all these programs are designed for Windows. They were never designed or written for Linux, which is not Linux's fault. But nevertheless, the sacrifices that you have to make as a gamer to use Linux is colossal. It really is. I mean, this is my current profile on the Windows, and you know, I've got maximum zoom, I've got the latest 153, I've got all the latest engine sounds, and she's so realistic and silky smooth. You know, as I say, I've got to row it back to 1.37, and again, I will be missing out on a lot of features and experiences in order to be able to do that. Whereas on the Windows, it's just flawless. So I guess what I'm badly trying to say is all the Linux wankers, you know, that, oh yeah, fucking wanker if you don't use Linux, this, that and the other. There are genuine reasons why people wouldn't want to switch over. I mean, this is just fucking stunning. Well, it is on my screen anyway. Hopefully it is on your screen. But this is absolutely stunning. I've got the full Truckee IO app installed and overlaid at the bottom of the screen. That's what that is. And, you know, I can bring up things like the... is it Alt? I can bring up things like the dispatcher for Truckee IO. I can bring up the settings for all the Truckee IO. It's fantastic. And of course you forgo all this on the Linux because none of this works or is compatible in Linux. On top of that, you've also got things like Truckers MP, so if you do want to play the multiplayer on Windows, it's an absolute breeze. On Linux, it's your worst nightmare. And please remember, we're talking about a game that's insignificant in the content creator streamer world. We're not talking about Fortnite, we're not talking about DayZ, we're not talking about Valorant or Apex Legends. You know, we're talking about games that I love, and I'm an old fudger. So if I'm noticing the stark differences and limitations, then a younger person sure as hell is, and they're sure as hell not going to tolerate it and go with it. I mean, as I say, I don't know what this is going to be looking like on your screen, but it's absolutely beautiful on my screen. It really is. It's stunning. It's fantastic. Okay, so I do want to make you all piss yourselves and give you all... I mean, even the cab bouncing about is realistic. I can use the latest Z mod physics, which this is. I can use all the latest realistic mods, which I just can't use on Linux. It's just, honestly, it's a revelation. It's so good. Anyway, I won't bore you because that's not what the purpose of today's live stream is. So that's our American Truck Simulator dealt with, and it's pretty much a absolute trouncing by Windows of Linux as a platform. Oh, the Windows. Been enjoying Forza Motorsport. I am a driving god. Jeremy Clarkson. I'm assuming that's in your head, Vince, I'm guessing. Yes, it looks very good. Thank you, Vince. Okay, so that's my first thing of note. The next thing is Star Wars The Old Republic. And yes, there is an underlying trend here, and I am obsessed with Bastila. Well, so I can play SWOTA as Bastila, I can play Kota 2 as Bastila. Coda one, I've made a Bastila but called it Ebeez, because you already have Bastila in your party. This, of course, although it's called Star Wars The Old Republic, is really Knights of the Old Republic 3. And I think it's a massive shame that Jeff can't take to it. We all have games that we just can't take to. I personally think this sort of game was built for people like Jeff, who like to explore every single detail. However, SWTOR is not like KOTOR. It's not a finite amount of content. So this is my take on Bastila on SWTOR, by the way. You know, I mean, you could pour half of your life into this game and still you would not have done every bit of content in the game. There is so much to do. So this is very much a long-term project game. This is not, you know, this is not, oh, I'm going to sink 25 hours into this game and I'm pretty much going to be done. But again, on the Windows, whether it's because of the APIs that nVidia can call on in Windows that you cannot access or have access to in Linux, I don't know. It just looks so much better. It really does. And this is on Ultra with absolutely everything maxed out on what could be described at best as an entry-level gaming card, the nVidia RTX 3050, 8GB, and it's just fantastic. So there's not as stark a difference between SWTOR like there is on ATS, but there is still a difference. So that's, for me personally, 2-0 for the Wimblows. Okay, so let's log out of that. I'm out. You've just got a black screen. You've just got a black screen on what? Well, according to me, it's all operational. Now it's back. Okay, so you just got a black screen on the SWTOR, did you? Yep, just black screen here also for SWTOR. Okay, just bear with me a second. Let me just have a look. It may well be because... interesting. Black screen for SWTOR. Okay. Let's have a look why it's a black screen and try and sort that out for you. Because as I say, I do want to video and live stream all of these games, and I've painstakingly set them up, and a couple of them are old friends that when I've logged in I've got all blurry-eyed and nostalgic, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. But anyway, so yeah, I forget sometimes, God, how many thousands of hours I've poured into certain games, and you just forget it completely. Okay, so now we've got a blank black screen, and it comes back when, so I'm doing the display, I am capturing the display. Okay, so let's just see what this is on and see if we can get it up for you. Graphics, resolution, VertSync. It is on full screen. Let me do windowed full screen. And let me see if that's now there for you. It may well, because it was on full screen, not windowed full screen. Okay, well, according to me, it's now there. Can you just confirm that in the chat that you can see it? There it is, working. Okay. So this is my Bastila. I know I've got a bit of a... It's Jeff's fault, actually, that I've developed a real fetish for Bastila. I could also replicate Vizamar very well as well on SWOTOR, because you have all of her outfits. This is kind of my cobbled together Bastila outfit, and normally I would be a sage, but I've gone with an assassin so that she can wear the famous yellow double-bladed lightsaber that Bastila carries. Having looked at lots of images and interpretations of Bastila, I don't think there's a single definitive version of her. So kind of that's the, you could argue the hairstyle's not quite right, but I liked it. I thought it suited her really, really well. So this will be my Bastila, which I'll be doing on SWOTOR. And as I say, I think it's a real shame, because this game was built for people like Jeff who really enjoy getting the most out of yeah, she has got a nice ass, Jeff. Absolutely. Hey up, Dobry, lovely to see you. So anyway, I go off train of thought, of course, because I'm in the stroke club. I don't know how much longer I can keep dragging that out. Your Linux power go up with Steam Deck? Yeah, I mean, if you got, but you know, you mustn't confuse things. If you've got a Steam Deck, and I'm guessing you've got no choice but to run Steam OS. Steam Deck is Linux, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what it's about. Okay, so the next thing I want to showcase, and there really is no difference at all between KOTOR on Linux and KOTOR on Windows. In fact, I would say it's slightly better and has more options on the Linux than it does on the Windows. So I'm going to go a straight 2-1 at the minute to Windows. So the first two games, Windows trounces the Linux. On the third game, I think Linux is actually better. So I can't remember actually if I've already made a Bastila. I think I have. Yeah, I did. I had to call her Ebeez. She's got a mouthful of teeth like Jaws out of James Bond. But hey, look. I think in terms of gameplay and stability, I think the only stability issue on the Linux is sometimes the movies can be highly dubious. On the Windows, I haven't had a single crash whatsoever. Not with movies, not with anything. And I continue to... Oh, okay. I continue to really fall in love with this game, even more than KOTOR 2, which I know Jeff is playing at the minute. And I know KOTOR 2 is supposed to be a better game mechanically, in that the mechanics are much better in KOTOR 2 than in KOTOR 1. But I really am in love with both SWOTOR and KOTOR 1. KOTOR 2 I will get to play at some stage this year, but not for quite a while because Jeff's just finished streaming it. So my long-term project will be American Truck, SWOTOR, and one other game which I'll stream in a bit for you. Whereas things like KOTOR 1 and 2 and Jedi Academy, they are finite. You know, you will get to the end of the game and Jeff Key, and you will finish it. Whereas things like SWOTOR and this other game that I'm going to stream shortly, you could technically play forever and never get to the end of it. So, but look, it's horses for courses. It's what floats your boat. I don't personally think there's any difference to be honest, between Windows and Linux as far as Kota and Kota 2 are concerned. I really don't. And I think either are, you know, a good choice for playing these old games. I don't think it runs any smoother. I don't think it looks any better. The only thing I would say for Windows is I've not had a single crash yet. But look, there's plenty of time for that. But nevertheless, we'll give it a whirl. Well, that was a good lob, wasn't it? Try again, love. Lob a nade. Boom. No, you're going to have to do some of your Jedi shite, whether you want to or not. Just saying. I'm kind of also so used to modding my games, and I've said this before, I get almost as much pleasure out of modding the games as I do out of playing them. And I'd just like to say, I don't think there's any difference between modding it on Linux and on Windows. In fact, I think it's slightly easier on the Linux. I really do. But nevertheless, I mean, again, I've been on the Linux since 2023 solid. And it's amazing how quick both muscle memory and the way your brain works starts to kick in. It's just amazing. And I find myself doing shit on the Windows and sitting there thinking, why the fuck isn't this working? What's going on? What's changed? Oh yeah, I'm on the Windows. And it, you know, I can't believe I make such schoolboy errors even after all this time, and yet you do, because you get so used to doing something on the Linux a certain way, and then when you go back to Windows, it's a bit unnerving because you think, well, anyway, I just wanted to showcase that again. Full 1080p, and the interface has all been adjusted and modified and works beautifully. As it does on the Linux, there's no difference. I don't think it looks any better or any worse on the Windows than it does on the Linux, to be honest. So, but then again, I guess that's one of the advantages of older games. You know, the differences are not that noticeable with older games, not like they are with newer games. But you know, again, with newer games, having access to things like your DLSS scaling, again, really does tip the balance in favour of the Windows, which you just don't have on the Linux, unfortunately. Big Astella, Bastilla, love it. Right, okay, so just to make you all giggle, should you need a giggle, unable to connect to server may be offline, really. So I spent 5 or 10 minutes on the Windows, having right-clicked a program, and then absolutely bemused and puzzled why I couldn't select the proton of my choice. I know. Dickhead doesn't even begin to cover it, does it? But that's how ingrained you become on Linux. It just because, and honestly, I sat here and thought, oh my fucking God, where have all my protons gone? What have I done wrong? What? Oh, you're on Windows, dickhead. You're on the Windows. Not required. The other thing that's exactly the same on the Windows as the Linux is modding the older Star Wars games and then launching them via Steam. And this is also brilliant This clicking and crackling I thought was unique to Linux. I thought it was a compatibility issue. It's not. It's on the Windows as well. So it's obviously to do with the game's intro that's dodge. It's nothing to do with Linux or anything else. Soon as you get into the game, it's absolutely tickety-boo. And again, using the Jedi Academy Enhanced, it all went really, really well. Again, recreating... I know I've got issues, haven't I? Recreating Bastila. Well, you know, fuck it. I've got a Bastila issue. I can't help it. It's just the way it is. But anyway, all my Star Wars games are beautiful that I want to play and stream. Now to an old friend. World of Warships. Wow. And again, you forget how many hours and how much pleasure you've had out of a game. Now, this runs like shit on the Linux under Wine. It's terrible. If you install it via Steam and run it via Proton Experimental, it's fine. But that raises again its own issues in that you can't log into any account of your choice. Steam will make you an account and only ever log you into that account. So that again is a serious drawback or limitation of Linux versus the Windows. On the Windows you can log into any account you feel like because you don't have to play it via Steam. Whereas on the Linux, well, if you play it via Steam, you're absolutely bollocks. You can only log into one account. I'm just going to play a quick battle for your edification. So let's load up the Battlewagen König, the missile cruiser Uyghur. Why I'm trying to speak like a Russian when it's German, I have no idea. I haven't played this game in such a long time that this will be your worst disastrous nightmare. But I've decided that the first goal that I want to set myself is to get the heavy cruiser Bismarck. So I'm going to grind up the German battleship line to the Bismarck and we'll have a bit of fun. And I've just forgotten just how wonderfully good this simple shitfest of a game really is, and it's just amazing. So yeah, and it's also a perfect companion for live streaming, in that, what am I loading up? HE, really? In that you could play this literally for hours and every battle's different, blah blah blah. The only difference is I won't be playing bot battles like I am now, but then again, you know, I've got to settle in somehow, somewhere. I'm going to defend the caps by sailing horizontally between 2 points and letting everything come to me. I'm not going to try and chase everything over the fucking map in a battleship. Never going to happen. So yeah, that's the plan for this game. And I'm going to try and defend the sea cap from invaders and anything else that wants to get in range of my guns. Well, best of luck with that. Hopefully it's streaming alright for you. I don't think this ship's got the greatest range. I can't remember if it's tier 4 or tier 5. I think it's tier 5. It's a missile cruiser König. So it's not going to have great range, and it is on HE, high explosive, which means I can set fires. I don't know what the captain is. I don't know how the mechanics have changed, whether it's as it was or whether they've completely changed the mechanics and etc, but I guess we'll find out. So we're capping D, which is nice. I'm guessing it's all bots. Yeah, it's 100%. So I'm the only real player in this game. The rest is completely and utterly bot city, which is fine. I haven't got the range to hit Kotoski. Ah, well. And we've got another enemy battleship right at the back. We've got no carriers by the look of it. Look at that. I'm just out of range of the chab. Although I'm guessing he's going to get torped. I'm going to speed up a bit because it looks like a lot of them are going to go for the C cap, which I get. Is he shifting it? He's towing it. Let's get a salvo of HE off. Try and hit the shit. Well, we hit him and we set a fire. So that's not bad. I'll take that. Burn, baby. Oh, he's running headlong into torpedoes. He's gone. So we didn't do much damage there. Look at the torps everywhere. That's one thing that's not changed about this game. And of course, as you go up the tiers, not only do you have to deal with torpedoes, but you have to deal with submarines, with fucking aircraft carriers, and it becomes your worst nightmare. As he stopped, son of a bitch, just as I fired. Son of a bitch stopped. Have a bit of that. Boom! Oh, Citadel. Hit him in La Citadale. Well, we'll have a bit of that. They've capped B, we're capping A. Nice, he's done. Next, as the actress said to the bishop, next. We'll just let him clear this ship here. And then we'll give him a salvo. And now you see why I sat at the back, missed. Hot diggity. He's getting a bat on then, isn't he? Maybe I should be on AP, not on HE. Really? That's on the money. Oh, he's turned. Son of a bitch. Managed to hit. Yeah, he's turned. And the thing is, if we hit him, we can reset the cap anyway. So this is one of the reasons I went for cap defense, because I knew this was going to happen. Not much has changed in that regard. Looks like the HE on this ship is shit. And that's a Dallas, which is a cruiser, I'm guessing. Come on, reload. I don't want to be lolling in the water. So every time we hit him, we reset the cap. He's on a hiding to nothing by staying there. Absolute creb. And he's going to get demolished. I think he's picking up a bit of speed. And we're going to completely miss if we're not careful. A few hits. Nothing to write home about. I'm hoping these are going to hit. Probably not. Oh, lovely. Have a bit of that. And he's burning. He's going to blow up. Yeah, he's done. Victory or death. So there you go. World of Warships. Nothing's changed in 6,000 years. Congratulations, Captain. 5 years have passed since your first battle. Accept our congratulations as well as a three times permanent camouflages and 120 economical bonuses. 2 white permanent camos. Nice. So they really are trying to give you a load of free shit to keep you interested in the game. So if we scroll down, where's oh, these are the perma ones. So we've got 5 free white camos that are permanent, that do nothing. They're purely cosmetic, whereas back in the day they used to do stuff. So if we go to the tech tree, you can see here's the Bismarck just here, which is tier 8. I am currently at tier 5, so I need to do 3 tiers. I need to get the Bayern and the Eisenhower. Oh, what a shit the Eisenhower is, I'm just saying. It makes the mouth water. There it is, the Eisenhower. Some say Eisenhower. It's not, it's a silent fucking G. Don't start pronouncing it Eisenhower. It's the Eisenhower. It's an Eisenhower. Germans don't say G. Trust me, they're a load of bollocks. That's just the English way of doing fucking it up. It's the Eisenhower, and it's a beautiful looking World War II ship. And before that, of course, we've got the Bayern, as in Bayern München, which again is a beautiful looking ship at tier 6. But we've got to grind our way through tier 5 up to tier 6, then up to tier 7, and then finally the Bismarck at tier 8. Now, we do have a little bit of a cheat in the locker, or a bit of a help, in that I have, I'm the proud owner of the Admiral des Grafspee, and the Admiral Grafspee is a premium ship, which means we can play lots of battles in the Grafspee and rack the credits up, which we're going to need to go up the tier list. So always handy to have a premium ship on the line that you want to grind, because you can use your premium to really get the free XP and the credits rolling in. So we'll be playing the Grafspee as much as the Koenig, the Mistelkuser Koenig. So let's just have a look what we need from this starting point to get to the next level. Well, I'd say we need at least 3.5 to 4 million credits to buy and kit the ship out. And we also need, that's just the purchase price. We also need how much XP? I'm guessing a shit ton of XP. Let's have a look. Let's go to port. So here's the Mistelkuser Koenig. I can't remember how you how do we upgrade the fucking thing? It's not like World of Tanks, maybe equipment. Yeah. So you see, it's like this ship. We need to be upgrading this ship to get the best out of it. So we'll have the main armaments mod, and this is why I say I think we're going to need 1 million on top of the basic purchase price of what we've got. We can't even afford that, and then we've got to start upgrading it. So to upgrade this ship, you're going to need tons of credits. I do have a couple of other accounts where I've got like 10-15 million credits on, but it's not this, this is my main account. So we're going to have to do lots of Grafspee battles and slowly but surely grind up the line to the Bismarck, which I'd really like to add. I already have, as you can see, ships dropping out of my arse, but I had to start somewhere. I did think about the British line. I'm currently up to the HMS Queen Elizabeth on the British battleships, but but I do like some of the German battleships as well, for historical reasons, if nothing else, and from a collector point of view. And World of Warships, I think, is easier and cheaper than World of Tanks to be a collector. World of Tanks, it's impossible these days to be a collector unless you've got unlimited funds. I mean, you know, even a Platinum American Express credit card would shudder at the thought of becoming a tank collector in World of Tanks. World of Warships, well, as long as you don't set your sights too high, it's perfectly doable. Wrong one, dick face. Okay, and last but not least, I hope you're right. Let me just check the chat, make sure you're all right. Wow, look at you all chatting away. Switch to AP, noob. Arc Royal is great. Yeah. The only problem with AP at the lower levels is they tend to just go through the ships and not damage them. Anyway. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. And this is all your fault. So at the minute it's 3-1 to Windows. Again, this is very personal for me personally. Windows 3, Linux 1. I think if you include Coda 2 in that, then it very quickly becomes 3-2. Because again, I don't think there's any difference whatsoever between Coda 1 and 2 on Linux and Coda 1 and 2 on the Windows. So we've actually 3-2'd it. The only difference is, what you've got to bear in mind is, with American Truck and Euro Truck, I would have to play really old versions of the games. Oh, okay. I don't know what I've just hit, but I've hit something, do it all the time. New game, obviously. And I don't think there's any difference between these two. I mean, there is a difference. And I'm actually going to give it to the Windows and make it 3-2 because sorry, the Linux and make it 3-2. Because I think you get a lot of extra niceties on the native Linux version that you don't get on the Windows version. Just saying. But that's just my 10 penneth. Modding, again, oh, it's Bastila. There's absolutely no difference between Windows and Linux. The only advantage that Windows has at the moment is I've not had a single crash. Again, on the Linux, I don't get that many crashes, but it can be a bit finicky, especially around the movie areas. So this is my Bastila, of course. Hello. So this is me playing as Bastila on KOTOR, which I'm going to do, and I absolutely love. I don't know if I've been down it. I've no idea. I mean, obviously, yeah, I must have been down it. Obviously, I'll start a new Bastila once I start playing KOTOR 2. But so far, 3-2. But with the caveat that Windows can do stuff, i.e. with American Truck and Euro Truck, that the Linux just can't do. World of Warships is much better on Windows. Apart from that, it's not too bad. But again, we have all the niceties on Windows that you just don't have on the Linux in terms of compatibility, in terms of graphics card features. So, you know, and to round it up, Farming Simulator 15. Now, I love the 15. I love it very much. I'm actually going to give this to Linux and make it 3-3. Why is that? Because the networking side of things on Linux is far superior to anything that's installed on the Windows. Now, the reason that mattered is if you want to play online with friends, and Farm Simulator is the perfect vehicle for that. It's okay on the Windows, but it's nowhere near as quick and as stable as what it is on the Linux. However, on the Winblows, I beg your pardon, you do get the beauty of not having to use an older Proton to get the images to render properly or get the game to render properly. And with something like an RTX 3050 and using an older version of the game, you can absolutely max the graphics out, and it's amazing. It really is. Whereas on the Linux, well, with the AMD RX 580, I can't max the graphics out, unfortunately. Not at 1080p. Whereas on this, I can just max it out, and I don't need to worry about things like, well, I don't know what that pulsing is. I don't need to worry about things like compatibility and Proton and all the rest of it. This is a vanilla version of the game. I haven't gone anywhere near it and started modding it as of yet. But I don't know what that's an nVidia thing. I don't know if you can see that on your screen. It actually, bearing in mind this is not modded, it actually looks better on the Linux. Just saying. God, I'm going to get verbally lambasted when this stream goes out as a video. But yeah, so I'm going to call it a dead heat. I think the only limitations of Linux is mainly down to compatibility. You know, if something doesn't work on Linux or it's a pain in the arse, well, then you've got your cast iron clad reason for people to stay on or use the Linux. Sorry, the Windows as opposed to the Linux. So, look, that's my 10 penneth worth. That's what I've been finding. I've found some nuances. There's not such a massive difference, but when you factor in compatibility, proprietary drivers, and what people are familiar with, then you can see very clearly why so many people just will never ever switch to Linux. Morning, Hez. Nice to see you, girl. How you diddly doing? So there you go. So that's my 10 penneth worth. So I'm going to start off with a bit of Bastila on Star Wars The Old Republic. Again, doing nothing because unfortunately my beautiful companion Altor Zoc is going to do all the donkey work for me, and all I've got to do is point him in the right direction, basically. And this is all on the Starforge server. Love the wallpaper, by the way. Then again, it's Bastila. Why would I? I don't know if I need to book in somewhere, but anyway, I like the old Bastila. I think she's gorgeous. So I'm going to be ploughing an awful lot of gaming hours into SWTOR on the Starforge server if you want to join me and play with me. And I'm also going to be ploughing a lot of hours into World of Warships, and in between we'll be doing a spot of KOTOR. Whilst I could install many other games, I just do not have the time, especially with work and real life and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I personally am looking for stuff that's straightforward and we can take care of business, not too difficult. And basically with Bastila, even though she's an assassin, you can treat her pretty much the same as any other class and just have your companion do all the donkey work. This was why it took me so long to fall in love with the KOTOR games as opposed to SWTOR, because the way that the KOTORs work with having a party
Activation protocol begins. So,
of companions as opposed to just a single companion. And the battle mechanics, I found it hard to adjust to. However, once you make that adjustment, it's incredibly addictive. It really is a very addictive game. I think she looks good. I think she's a great representation of Bastila. Very well done by yours truly. I think the final realisation for me, having been so pro Linux from 2023 when I had my stroke, is that, to be quite honest, brutal and frank, nobody really gives a flying fuck what operating system you're on. They don't care. People make out, you know, oh, fucking Windows noob, Linux wanker. And in reality, nobody gives a shit. It's whatever vehicle gives you your daily fix of pleasure. And if that's Windows, fine, it's Windows. If it's Linux, fine, it's Linux. It's whatever floats your boat, really. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully the chat is all okay for you all. Hopefully this is actually live stream, and it is. And you can see your chat on screen, and everything's just working. I haven't got to worry about, you know, Proton or anything else, or is the Streamlabs plugin in OBS working? It just works. And I think that's the beauty of the Windows. Everything just works, and I think it's why so many gamer streamers would be horrified at the thought of having to leave it. And again, these are all the little nuances that nobody will tell you about. They'll tell you how amazing Linux is and how much more secure, blah blah blah, but they won't tell you about the hours of woe and pain and fucking misery that you've got to put in, that you just don't have to put in on the Windows. Actually, I need to lock that. So, yeah, that's my 10 penneth worth. I don't feel the need to put any more effort into either Linux or Windows. I've now changed my job in real life, and I'm now using Windows again on a daily basis because I'm forced to, because that's what the company uses that I work at. So again, it makes sense totally for me to refamiliarise myself with the Windows ecosystem. And obviously all the shenanigans that Windows likes to throw at you as a user, it's still I think it's still easier to run Windows and put up with all the shit than it is for a noob user to use Linux. Oh, you gotta love Bastila, ain't you? Is it just me, or is she gorgeous? Jeff, if you're still in the stream, please take your eyes off her ass.
Another has come to listen. When the Jedi Order was founded, I, Calibrin, said we should devote ourselves to justice. True justice cannot be driven by emotion. We Jedi can set our passions aside and seek the truth without fear.
She
or
is
favor.
Gorgeous. She's beautifully rendered. And again, with SWOTOR, there's a bajillion updates coming this year which will continue to improve the game's look and feel. So again, another solid reason for making SWOTOR my MMO of choice, as opposed to something like Guild Wars or Neverwinter or whatever, Final Fantasy, whatever, Skyrim Online, Fallout 76. They're all great titles, great games. I don't know, logging into SWOTOR just feels like, for me personally, like coming home. Probably the same as logging into Guild Wars 2 feels like for Cider. He probably feels like he's right at home there. And it's fantastic. It's a lovely feeling, and why not? Why the hell not? Fill your boots. Do what makes you happy. Play what you enjoy, as it's your real life hours that you can't get back once you've spent them. You're really liking your iMac recently got. Good for you. Well, I'm going to call it a night. Take care, everybody. Yes, sleep well, Heather. EB will help put you to sleep like a baby. Thank you, Vince. That's you're just so kind. Typical Australian. There's no bitterness there. There's no envy. Wannabe Englishman. Very kind. Just wait for Vince to did. But anyway, it's the way it is. I've been doing this for too long now to give a shit anymore, to be honest. I just enjoy as much as I can. Oh, you're just going to take him right off me, even though I was killing him. Okay, you've killed him. That works. Well, for your cheat, you can have some pain, woe and suffering, because I ain't going to heal you up. You can just do the killing. So I still have the same issue on Windows as I do on the Linux in terms of how do I see the chat. Well, I guess a second monitor would cure that. But as I don't have a second monitor, I have second monitors, but not up here. I'll have to try and work it out somehow. Using the cell phone really isn't an ideal solution.
Hey, good to see another Padawan alive out here. You're lucky those creatures haven't caught you yet.
I've been searching for you. What happened out here?
They'd sent rescuers.
So Bastila is alive in multiple versions of the Star Wars universe.
Never fought like that in my life.
I love her to bits anyway. And she has got, as Jeff does say, a pretty peachy ass.
I thought you didn't have combat training. The Masters wanted you out of harm's way.
We're not warriors. Besides, it is not the Jedi way to seek revenge.
That's your opinion, Meneus. It's not what we decided. Training or not, a bunch of animals won't keep us from becoming Jedi.
So I'll crack on today and get her up to level 10. And the idea is to suck up every bit of content that I can find and get her good progression both through the game and also through her legacy panel, which isn't going to be cheap. Bastila is of course light side. Although I'm a bit confused. Does she end up dark? I'm not sure. Jeff would know. Ask Jeff. But I'm going to do her as a light-sided Jedi.
As soon as we have gathered our things, we will signal for a ride back.
I still don't really get what the difference between a Jedi and a Sith is, because in my world, killing is killing, right? Whether it's for good or for evil, butchery is butchery. Paint it any colour you want. But anyway, we have this, you know, the Jedi are right and the Sith are bad. But I guess Palpatine's comment was correct. Good and evil depend greatly. Oh no, it wasn't him, was it? It was Obi-Wan. Depend greatly upon your own point of view. You know, one man's martyr is another man's terrorist. Yeah, he's... Anyway, as I've already put Vince and Heather fast asleep, if nothing else, it's better than watching them dolphin in the sea videos. Well, if it helps you get sleep, then whatever floats your boat, just saying. I am liking this version of Bastila, I have to say. I think she's gorgeous. Okay. I should change that around so that I can help Tonk Face. Okay. Over out. She doesn't need to go to the cave. Come on, kill them, Altor. Alter Zock. Get Butcher in. Get Butcher in, Altor. God, how close have I got to be to do that? I've got to be right in the face. It's not an at distance skill at all, is it? Anyway. So we've already sorted Bastila's armour and her weapon out, so it should be a relatively straightforward affair to get good progression on her.
A new Jedi comes to learn. Excellent. Excellent. I am Ter Senden, keeper of the histories. A
Let me
founder.
just check the chat while we're... You're a wannabe chab, are you? Yeah. Well,
I've come to retrieve the projector
keep
for
at
your
it, Vince.
hologram.
You'll get there in the end.
It's in danger of being destroyed by flesh raiders.
Of course, the other big advantage that I now have is I can live stream to Discord with full audio without having to even think about it, which is great, which I'll probably try and, as of today, spend a lot more time live streaming on the Discord, but you know, bear in mind if you chat me and I'm away, I'm having a wee or whatever, I'm not ignoring you, so do bear that in mind, because some people get a bit short when you don't give an instant response, especially on the Discord. But I do want to get the Discord running because I think it's a great place to not play games alone. I know sometimes you want to just chill out and play a game on your own, and that's great, I get it, but it is also nice to have other people to hang out with while you're gaming. I don't know, Beck loves it and it's just great, and I've been very neglective since I had my stroke of the Discord, but now I'm back on the wind blows, that issue's removed, so do expect to see me on the Discord a lot more, and you know, do feel free to come and hang out, chill out whilst you're doing whatever you're doing. I'll either be SWOTA, KOTOR or World of Warships, one of the three, but now I'll be able to live stream it, which is nice, and chat to you lot while I play. Okay, so I think I've
Master Yuan,
taken
I've
up
encountered
enough
a
of your
problem.
time.
One of the holo projectors has
You're all probably gone faster, Babeyes. I won't charge you extra for that. It's been lovely to do this live stream. As I say, please check out Jeff's streams later on, videos, as they get converted, because they are great. Jeff does a wonderful, wonderful, entertaining job with his playthroughs. I love them to bits. I love him to bits. So please show him some love and support. And have a great weekend, everybody. Much, much love. And I'll catch you all in the next one. So take care. Cheers.